That's right, and let's drive over to some wrestling news and get your opinions and takes on a few things. I have here an interview with Tony Khan from The Hollywood Reporter. Here's the question. This next one is probably the trickiest question I have for you.
Oh boy.
Similar to Hollywood, wrestling is a business of stars. That also means big personalities, and at times clashes of personalities in their opinions and interests. There has been much talk in the wrestling business about the dislike and disagreements between some of your big stars, especially CM Punk and members of the Elite, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Hangman Page, that led to a reported physical altercation last year. Some are concerned about what that means for locker room morale and AEW overall. These stars will all be in London after their infamous run-in last year. How do you see your role in managing such tensions? Do you leave these things to the wrestlers to sort out? Or do you give any guidance or step in and draw a line? Any thoughts on the question?
Boy, well worded. And Tony better have something to say for himself as a result of that. Now, let me guess. He's going to say a lot of words, and none of them are going to mean anything when you get to the end of it.
The most important thing to me as the CEO is the wrestling fans. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I try to think like a wrestling fan. I want the best wrestlers here in AEW. I want the best roster. And there may be some of them that don't get along with each other backstage or on TV. It's not ideal, but it's a reality, and I can't make everyone get along. I'm not sure it's necessary even in the best interest of pro wrestling for everyone to get along. But ideally, everyone is going to be able to focus on their matches and putting on the best shows for the fans. And I think that's what we've been doing. We've had really strong ratings, so even though wrestlers backstage hate each other and don't want to be friends with each other, I think we all agree this is a really exciting time for the company. And it's a really exciting time for the wrestling business and the wrestling fans.
The building's on fire, but dinner smells great.
There's a little more, but let me stop there because that was a bunch. What do you think of his initial comments?
I get, and he tried to do something in there in the middle of that where he said, they don't like each other in the locker room or on television. He's trying to, because honestly, if he answered the question completely honestly and upfront, he would be saying, yeah, they're all supposed to be friends and we're working together. Nobody's supposed to dislike anybody, which kind of works against the concept of wrestling that they're supposed to dislike each other within the creative world on television. What he could have said was, look, this is a combat sport, and there are going to be tempers flaring, and there's going to be personalities, like you said, and there's going to be tension, and everybody wants to be number one, and I understand that. What we're not going to allow is our athletes fighting in the locker room, endangering our other employees, endangering people that might be backstage at the arenas. We're not going to tolerate locker room fights or anything of that ilk. If they want to settle things, come to me. I'm the matchmaker, and I'll make the matches, and they can do it in the ring. But I'm putting my foot down that no matter who's on my roster, they will coexist in a professional situation unless they're booked to fight each other, and then they can have my ring and they can have at it. And then just stop having everybody get beat up in the fucking locker room for a work on TV anyway, because it means nothing anymore since it's done 5 times a show. And then you've covered the goddamn situation and you sound like you have some balls, because everybody knows Tony doesn't have the balls to do anything about this, but he doesn't have to come out and admit it when talking about, like you just said, I don't think everybody's going to like each other, but we just want what's best for the fans. Yeah, sound like you're in charge of something, even though you're not. That's what I think.
There are a lot of people around here who think they're the best. And I think a lot of them have a valid claim that they're the best. And what I'm trying to do is create an environment where everyone could go out and prove multiple times per week and create a platform where the fans can decide who the best wrestlers are what the best rivalries are, what the best matches are. As long as I can keep top talent in AEW, we will have the best matches and the best big events.
Oh boy.
The lineup of wrestlers competing on AEW All In is the strongest group of talent we've ever assembled on one show. It features some of the biggest matches in the history of this company.
Is this still in response to that question you just asked?
Yes.
Okay.
It features some of the biggest matches in the history of this company, and I think it's going to be one of the greatest days ever in pro wrestling this Sunday.
He's very optimistic. But again, that's what Tony does, is he starts by kind of addressing the topic that was brought up and then swerving to how great everything is and how wonderful he thinks everybody is, and that's the way he ends it. And then you don't know any more when he's finished than you did when he started.